Hi, Kat.
Hello, John.
How are you?
I mean, I've been a lot better.
Have you?
How are you?
I'm, well, I don't know. Where am I
Yeah.
at? I guess I have definitely been better. I have certainly been worse. But I'm probably closer to the better today.
That's-
Like,
okay.
This is minute to minute.
Oh,
Here at
100%. Hundo P.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we got that squared away.
Yeah. Check
See you tomorrow.
that off the list. We did the intro.
Done and done. So Kat, question for you.
Yes, John.
The fuck are we doing?
Oh, fuck, man. You know, it's a good question. And from what I can tell, all arrows point towards recording a podcast.
I saw some of those arrows. They seem to be pointing podcasterly.
Right.
And yeah.
Podcasterly. Podcast away.
I don't know, podcasterly. Like northerly, southerly.
Sure. And then I built on that joke and said podcast ho.
So you're calling me, I'm the nobody. You say you're yes-anding, but I don't know. Anyway, so this is pretty much what we do on the podcast, right?
I mean, this is it, baby. There's no better way to explain it. Just what you're hearing is what you're hearing, and that's what we're doing.
Indeed. So if you like what you hear, stick around. Tell some other people.
Yeah, why not? Might as well.
Let's get this up to 20s and 30s of listeners.
Oh, come on, John. Don't talk crazy.
I mean, a boy can dream.
Yeah.
Yep. So cool. Of all the various different kinds of podcasts
Yeah.
that you and I get together and do
Yeah.
on a semi-regular basis, what would you say the kind of podcast we're doing today would be?
I mean, we haven't actually talked about it. I think we're shooting some shit.
I think we're gonna be shooting some shit. I have some content, some prepared content. I've already paired it.
I might have a little something as well.
Oh, lovely.
Oh.
Werewolves of London. Yep. Cool. I always, whenever we get a little off the rails right at the beginning like this, I always think about first-time listeners. Also, the fact that
God.
within the first 10 seconds, I already dropped an F-bomb. So it's
that's
this
fine.
is good.
Yeah.
Let's let people know exactly how that can happen
Who we are and
what's up.
what's up.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you want to hear my already paired content?
Please.
Been prepared?
Please.
Okay. I'm gonna keep leaning on that joke. Good. Because you don't have to. Because here's what's up. You may be aware, Kat, because you are a conscientious person who knows about what's going on, that there is a new and improved vaccine.
Oh, yes, indeedy.
Yes, against the COVID-19.
Indeed.
Well, here in the Fitzgerald household, we eagerly await, much like other people will wait for the new iPhone to be released, or maybe the new model year for the car that is their favorite. Sure. We just sit right on the edge of our seats. We bought entire chairs, but we only use the edge.
Incredible.
And we wait for the release of new vaccines.
That's great.
So the healthcare provider that we belong to is a large one, and they're very much one-stop shop, right? Like the insurance company is the hospital, is the doctor. In this way, I think I've talked about this a couple of times before because all of my different medical woes, which people just have to deal with because I'm a white man of a certain age. And it's what's going on. It's what I have to talk about. Anyway, so we had been in order to get a vaccine, you have to set up an appointment. And we had been every day we'd go to the site and try to set up an appointment. And they're like, the new vaccine is coming soon, but it's not here yet. Right? And and we'd cry. And,
so sad.
We'll get them next time. And that kind of thing. So we did that. We were doing that every day, waiting for this new vaccine because it's been a bunch. I don't know if you know. I know 3 or 4 people who just got COVID in the last 2 weeks.
It's still a thing, believe it or not.
Yeah. I have managed to not get it, partly because, we have very little life around
Sure.
here. Still wearing masks inside everywhere. But anyway, so we wanted the new and improved. And finally, one day, like Christmas morning, I woke up and the visions of sugar plum in my head popped. And I woke up and looked at the bright new day, and I thought, I better check to see if the new vaccine is available. And you know what, Kat?
What, John? What?
It was. It totally was.
Amazing.
And so I went on the app and set up all my stuff, and I'm like, they're like, okay, and there's Pfizer, and there's Moderna, and this is what'll kill you if you take the Pfizer one, and this is what'll kill you if you take the Moderna one.
Sure.
And you go all the way through, but it never gave me an opportunity to choose which one I wanted.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
But I just figured, okay, well, maybe it'll be they have both, and you can get in the right line or something like that.
Okay.
Anyway, so go ahead and complete it. Michelle goes on her little app, and she sets up
Great.
her appointment, and they're
I
like
love
10 minutes
this.
apart, and it's perfect. And now the problem
You guys
is
high five each other.
totally,
You're like
totally.
amped.
We're like vaccine buddies. We're not just married; we're vaccine buddies.
That's awesome, dude.
Yep. So we're very excited, and it's a Saturday. We set the appointment for a Saturday, and because that was the closest we could get.
Great.
And then it had only been released that day.
Okay.
And we
Wow.
already were like 4 days out from when we could get it.
Okay.
So then we get the confirmation email back, and it says we're getting Pfizer, and it's like, we're kind of a Moderna family around here.
Yeah.
We haven't messed with that Pfizer stuff. We've had Moderna every single time. I've had 5 Modernas. She's had 4.
Okay.
And
Is it? Are you like? You feel kind of good about that you've had more shots than Michelle's had? Is that something you kind of?
I'm winning.
You hold over her a little bit. Yeah.
Cat.
Stupid question.
Mine goes to 5. Hers only goes to 4.
Yep.
And the difference was just that I got the old one right before they changed it over and said you could only get the newer one.
Oh, funny.
So she didn't make it in time. She had to wait till the next one came out, which wasn't that long. It was like 2 months later.
Okay.
And then I got the new one with her 2 months later because they said to do that. So I have more vaccines, so I'm superior.
Well
that's
done.
just how that works, right?
Well done.
Right. So anyway, we're like, man, I really want to. So we talked to our good friend, the little bunny that lives in our backyard. We talked to Ron Bunny, and Ron's like, hey, CVS they're doing it, and you can just sign up online.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, that's cool. So we went to the CVS website, and it's like, oh my gosh, we can get this tomorrow at CVS. Mm-hmm. So I sign us up, and we're like, all right, we'll take Moderna, and we're going to Oh, awesome. Cool. Mm-hmm. So then we cancel our appointment for Saturday.
Okay.
And then the next day comes, and we wake up just, again, like Christmas morning, but for real this time. And we're like, oh, all right. Then we get in the car, and we drive to the CVS, which is not the closest CVS. Mm-hmm. It's not the second closest CVS.
Uh-oh.
Frankly, it's not the 5th closest CVS, but it's CVS, and we drive to it. It takes about a half an hour.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. And we get there, and we go up to the pharmacist, and the pharmacist looks exhausted.
Oh, no.
Okay. And we found out why a little bit later about why a pharmacist at a CVS might be exhausted.
Okay.
But I'll get into that in a little bit. If I forget, please remind me.
Ding. Got it.
Ding. Okay. So we give our insurance cards to the pharmacist.
Sure.
She toddles off to another computer somewhere
Okay.
and is gone for a couple minutes, and then comes back and she says, yeah, your insurance doesn't cover this, or we don't accept your insurance. And I'm like, I had to put our insurance information into the form in order to set this
The
appointment.
Yeah.
And we canceled our other appointment in order to do this one. She's like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, well, how much would it be out of pocket? I'm thinking, if it's $30 or something like that, $190 a dose is what she said.
Damn.
Right? Now, first of all, insurance is covering this stuff, but I believe, and maybe, if a mistaker out there knows better, I believe the U.S. government is still underwriting all of this and reimbursing the insurance companies
I thought so as well.
for vaccines. So
It's in everyone's best interest that the U.S. government do this.
Exactly. But this exhausted pharmacist behind the counter could not have given two shits. Couldn't have even given one shit. Was not interested in any way, shape, or form in our, problem. So we left, and I didn't have anything nasty I could leave behind or anything like that. But so we took off and we went to eat some outdoor lunch that we were supposed to be eating after we had our injections. That was supposed to be our celebratory, patio lunch.
Yeah.
And the lunch was still good, but we were not. We felt vulnerable, It's like, oh my gosh.
Of course.
Even though those things take at least 2 weeks to reach maximum, efficacy.
Sure.
But anyway, so we're like, well, now what are we gonna do? So I'm like, okay, I get on the app and I'm like, hey, my insurance. Can we get another appointment? They're like, sure, you can get another appointment on November 25th.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
This is 1 day later. The thing that weirds me out is that I assumed that we lived in an area where people were not running out to get that thing right away.
Interesting.
Because even though we're in California, and if you don't live in California, you might think all of California is fruits, nuts, and flakes. No, we got MAGA here too, people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Just the reality of the situation.
And I may live near a bunch of it. But anyway, so it's like we can't wait that long. We want to make sure we get this earlier. Mm-hmm. So we're like, okay, well, what if we go to a location of our insurer that's not real close? Do you know where Lancaster is?
Unfortunately, I do, John. Yes, it's the armpit of the Southern California area.
It is. There are only two things in Lancaster. Well, I'm going to say three now because it's been amended. There are two things. There are rocket scientists.
Yes.
And methamphetamine.
Shout out to Lancaster, by the way. Woo! If anyone's listening, you're cool. Everyone else out there. If
anyone's listening, I don't believe you. But Lancaster. There's a big rocket place out there. I don't know what it is exactly, but
yeah, I don't either. Is it Rocketdyne?
No, Rocketdyne's
that's out here,
sort of closer to me.
Magoo, is that Point Magoo? Let's just start naming places.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like if you're in Palmdale, you tell people, "Oh, we're Lancaster adjacent." At least you're not Palmdale,
right?
But you're not. I don't know. It's not a great place to end up. Yeah. It's not.
Yep. So anyway, we were looking on the thing. And Michelle's never been to Lancaster, and
fun.
That's a good quality.
That's a good thing
to never have been to Lancaster. I believe everyone is made less after having been to Lancaster.
Now I feel bad. I feel bad we're piling on Lancaster.
There is nobody listening to this podcast in Lancaster.
We don't know that.
And if there is, I will apologize profusely while standing on my head. And then we'll release a photograph of that.
Okay. I hope somebody emails us from Lancaster because I'd love to see that.
We're going to need to see some proof. But anyway, so it's like, all right, well, we could get this tomorrow in Lancaster.
In Lancaster. Okay.
Yeah. Now, the reason is because other than the rocket scientists, Lancaster is full of people who either A, don't give a shit, or B, are libertarians or Republicans or conspiracy theorists, or,
right?
That end of the spectrum,
who have no interest in getting a vaccine.
Indeed, because they know that the people who get the vaccines are all going to die of myocarditis within 2 years of getting it. Oh, oops! It's been almost 4 years. Well, okay. No, it's been 3 for the vaccine. Anyway, so we're like, all right, well, it's a half-hour drive because
it's such a pretty drive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's Vasquez Rocks. That's
pretty.
Cool.
I love. That's a cool. It actually is not bad. It's a nice drive.
Right.
It is a nice drive.
It is. Shout out to Laura because I know Laura loves. We have the people who we shout out to now a little bit, but Vasquez Rocks is a favorite place of Laura's.
It's a beautiful place.
And Laura's a friend of the pod and a regular.
She is.
Listener.
Love you, Laura. Love you,
Laura.
So much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So we drive up to Lancaster the next day.
Great.
And trying to keep our little we're going to treat ourselves because we got the boo-boo ouchie at the at the thing. We decide maybe we'll try to go get a spot of brunch after.
In Lancaster?
Shh.
Sorry.
Don't.
Okay. Oh, this is good. Okay, I'm sorry.
Trying to bury this.
Sorry.
So anyway,
What a great idea, John.
right? Exactly. So we drive on up to Lancaster, and we get to the place, and of course they tell us it's Pfizer only. We only carry Pfizer, and I'm like, well, you know what? I guess we're a Pfizer household now. That's what we're doing. We get our stick, and there's not a line, Kat.
Of course not.
We walked up to the front, like the check-in, and they're like, oh, you see that station that you just walked by? And we're like, you mean the flu shot station? They're like, oh yeah, they're doing both there. And they had 2 chairs. There was one person in one chair, no line, and the other chair was just empty.
Great.
So she's like, just go back there. So we went back there and got all checked in, blah, blah, got our stick, and then they're like, okay, thank you. And they didn't ask us to wait. You remember when we first got the vaccine?
They don't do that anymore.
No.
Yeah, they don't do that.
When we first got the vaccine, they're like, you're not allowed to leave for 20 minutes in case you have a massive seizure or brain hemorrhage. And it's like, well, that makes me feel great. But,
exactly.
No, here they're like, get in your car and get the hell out of here.
No, they don't do that no more.
Nope. So we get to the car and we're like, all right, let's take a look. Let's look around for a place. And I get on my Yelp app and
Great.
I'm like, okay, breakfast, brunch, whatever. It's about like 10:45 in the morning at this point.
Okay.
So I look and I find a place and I'm like, it looks a little sketch, but it's open and they advertise that breakfast is their specialty.
Oh, wow.
And they say they have outdoor seating. So
Perfect.
which is a must.
Yeah.
So I show the picture to Michelle and I'm like, Michelle, what do you think? I'm not sure. The place looks a little sketch. And she looks at it and she goes, no, it's all right. I'm like, and I'm surprised because she's a woman of taste and has
Of course.
standards.
Yes, of course
unlike
she does.
Her husband. And so I'm like, all right, well, cool then. So I follow the directions and we find this place, and it's in like a strip mall that has like a junk yard next to it and something else.
That sounds
like a check cashing place and a gun store and I don't know. Like
sounds about right. Yeah.
Sure. And we pull up and Michelle looks at it and she goes, and I'm like, well, it's not that I didn't get the nuh-uh, it's that, but I showed you a picture. And she's like, well, I couldn't tell from the picture. And then I was a little like cranky and I'm like, well, okay. And so we had a little thing about that. And like, well, I showed you the picture. Well, I don't want to eat there. Plus their outdoor seating was awful and whatever.
My mind.
Right. So, so we got back on the Yelp app and we're looking around. We're like, oh, there's this like Main Street area where, and it's like, it kind of is like when you say, when you say like one horse town, you always picture that Main Street where it's like there's between 2 intersections that are dirt roads.
Yes.
You have a little section with like all kinds of storefronts and stuff like that. Lancaster has one of those.
Great.
And as a matter of fact, I even recognized it because I had actually gone to see comedian Lewis Black at the Lancaster Performing Arts Center.
What?
Yeah. The good old LPAC, I think.
Wow.
I guess.
LPAC.
LPAC, yeah. So we're like, all right, well, there's got to be something there. So we drive to that place, and it's like we're driving. Everything opens at like 11, and it's like 10 minutes till or whatever. So we're driving around, and Michelle had found a place. She's like, this one looks good. And we go and we look, and the place, it's open, and they have tables out front.
Okay.
And there's no shade at all. And Lancaster is the desert.
It is.
Straight up. Like you can say it's Mediterranean climate, and it's desert.
No, it's the desert.
It's the desert. So like me sitting outside, with no shade is like I'm basically going to spontaneously combust.
You're going to cook.
Yep. So we drive through there, and we're both cranky because neither one of us has had breakfast. We both just got injected, and we're like, how people do.
Of course.
And so we're kind of snipping at each other and driving around, and there's nothing. And we get out, and we're like, all right, we're gonna walk and go take a look. And it's like, okay, well, look, there's a Brazilian place. That looks cool, and they open at 11. So we go, and it looked like they're actually open already. So we walk in, and then, okay, Kat, I don't know if you remember the 80s all that well.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit? Okay. Every table was black lacquer.
Okay.
And then there was like some pink neon on the walls.
Amazing.
It looked like a cocaine club straight out of the 80s. Not that I ever got to go to those, but and so we walk in and there's nobody, And then a guy comes out and he's on his phone, and he walks and it's like the other end of an airplane hangar, and he's walking toward us on the phone the whole time. And he comes up and he goes, and he's speaking in Spanish, so he tells the person on the phone to hold, and then he looks at us. He goes, 11. And I look at my watch. It's 5 minutes till.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And we turn around and we do not go back. and we walked right. Finally, we got back in the car and we're like, all right, this has just been not a great thing. So, and meantime, I don't know if this could have been, psychosomatic or whatever, but we started feeling kind of poopy, like rapidly,
sure,
like pretty quick.
Oh boy.
And like in the past, it usually took a couple of hours before I would feel like with my Moderna shots. But apparently this Pfizer trash, you just get it right away. But so we're both not feeling all that great. So anyway, we drove back home, but we got our shots. We got home.
Good.
We had some food at home, a la casa.
Boring.
And yeah, I know, right? But that is the story of how we got. So the mistake that was thinking that CVS, that bastion of capitalism,
That's fuckers,
was going to help. Well, and the thing that was messed up is they told us, we don't take your insurance. And part of the reason is because, I don't know if you know this, but CVS now owns Aetna. Which
really?
Yes. CVS, and I don't know if Aetna does not own CVS. CVS owns Aetna.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden there's this big conflict of interest with what insurance they're willing to accept, because if you're a direct competitor of Aetna's, it's not in their best interest to serve you. And it's like, this is why health insurance should not be a capitalistic affair. But it is.
Just frustrating.
Yeah, and they told us, well, you can go to Walgreens. And I'm like, I won't go to Walgreens because we're boycotting Walgreens because Walgreens refuses to sell abortifacient pills. So it's like, no, we're not going to do that. We will not give them our business. And now I don't want to go to CVS. I don't want to go to Walgreens. Where else am I going to go? Like Rite Aid, if I can find one?
I guess.
And that's just California, I think. I don't think Rite Aid, there used to be Rite Aids everywhere, but
yeah,
I think CVS bought all of them or something.
I mean, we have Rite Aid out here, like right by our house.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think where there's another one.
But there just aren't many independent.
Sparse.
There's these two giants anymore. And I guess you could probably do, like Walmart has a pharmacy, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that Walgreens? Isn't that their pharmaceutical
I think, well, there are standalone Walgreens, but I think that there are.
In the Walmart itself.
Walmart,
I see.
I think, yeah. Yeah, because, you can get your glasses prescriptions in the Walmart.
Sure.
You can, you can get your hemorrhoid removal there in the Walmart.
Get everything.
That one's especially for Anne. Thanks, Anne. But yeah, this is the enshittification of everything, where it's getting down to two companies own all the drugstores, and fuck you if you don't like it.
Exactly.
So yeah. Anyway, so that was the big mistake. That was our vaccines. But getting the vaccines was not a mistake.
I'm glad you guys got your jabs.
Me too.
Leah and I got our jabs a couple weeks ago. We got we've been jabbed.
How did you get yours before ours when we were sitting waiting?
I don't know.
Where did you go?
I am ashamed to say we went to Walgreens.
Oh, okay.
We're about to do some traveling, and we're like, well, fuck it, we got to get this done.
Absolutely. I'm glad you did.
We'll make a donation. We'll make a donation.
Yep.
So we go, and we're going to get the flu shot too, because we're there.
Oh, you doubled down.
We doubled down, and we've done that before, I think.
I won't do that. I had already gotten my flu shot beforehand.
Well, maybe I won't next time too.
Yeah.
So we get the jabs, and the dude, I'm like, can you do it in the same arm? He's like, no, you got to do one on one side, one on the other. Which I've since been told. Disabled. Well, I've since been told that's not the case. You don't have to do that.
Yep. Good
to know for next time. And so I'm like, okay. And it was also Pfizer. So, and we're a mixed house. We started Moderna, and then we were in a position that it's like, well, you're either getting the Pfizer or you have to wait. And we're like, fuck it, we'll do that.
Yeah.
So now we're like, whatever, anything goes now, John. And also it's funny you say how like, they don't make you wait anymore. Those cards they gave us are now like just useless. Like nobody cares. Nobody wants you to keep track of what you're getting and when you're gotten it. Like nobody cares anymore.
No one has ever asked me to present my vaccination card. Not once. Of course,
Yeah.
it's partly because we don't.
You don't go anywhere.
places.
I mean, I have been asked, and I have, I brought it with me or a photo of it, or through the state of California, they can send you a digital one.
Right.
So like you tell them, hey, I got this whenever, and then they send it to you, and it's cool. But like they don't give a fuck anymore. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Nope.
So, anyways, get the jab. The COVID vaccine didn't hurt. It was like very simple, easy, no problem. And then he did the flu shot, and it hurt. I felt it. It didn't feel good. And that night, instead of how they say you should drink a lot of water to help, I didn't do that, John. I did the opposite. I had a couple of stiff drinks. I'm not making good choices right now, John. So I'll just get that out there.
Times of grief, we do.
I had a couple of stiff drinks. And oddly enough, I woke up the next morning feeling like absolute garbage.
I remember this now. I didn't realize. I don't know why it didn't hit me that you had gotten your jab first.
Oh yeah. And then even that night I was I felt terrible. I felt ill.
Yeah.
I felt like, oh yeah, and this is what it was like when I first the first vaccine shot for me. It was rough. It was a brutal 6 or so hours.
It was the second of that. You had to get the 2 shots.
Yeah.
The first one, no problem. I was like, everything's fine. I don't know what these people are talking about. Then I got the second one, and I was down for 3 days with a fever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, right? Everybody had a different reaction and different symptoms. So interesting.
Yeah.
And weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're 2 weeks out, John. My arm still fucking hurts.
Oh God.
I've finally started Googling things because I was like, okay, this is a problem. This is serious.
Is it still the flu arm?
It's the flu arm. Yeah.
Wow.
So like I don't have I can't rotate all the way around. I can't lift
You
anything.
don't have full range of motion. That's really not bad.
So I Googled it, and they whoever they are saying like whoever gave you the shot may have gone too deep into your muscle, and that can kind of trigger some inflammation.
Sure.
I might even have bursitis now in my shoulder.
Awesome. They gave me mine really high, higher than I've ever gotten it on my arm, and I thought the same thing. Like, well, that's where all your the bursas and stuff like that are.
I didn't look. I don't know how high up or where it was on my arm, but mother of God, it hurts.
I'm sorry.
So that's adding to the fun over here.
Every day's a carnival.
Yeah. So that's good, but I'm glad you guys are protected. I'm glad you made it out of Lancaster alive. That's good.
We did.
Congratulations. What should we do next? I know, we have, you know what? Really quickly, I'm sure you have heard because you mentioned we've been talking about the vaccine, and
Right.
I don't know if you know, on Wednesday of this tomorrow, which is Wednesday as of this recording, the emergency broadcast system is doing a nationwide test on the 5K networks. Have you heard this?
I have. And the very special circumstance that can cause that is negative for some people.
Yeah. So apparently, if you've had a COVID vaccine, according to some people, this signal they're sending out is going to trigger some sort of a switch in you, and you could become a zombie.
Oh, now I had not heard about this.
You haven't heard this? Oh.
I have not heard this, and it's great. I don't listen to Alex. Yeah, I don't listen to Alex Jones, but I do listen to Knowledge Fight, which I've pumped them up on here before because they need 5 more listeners. But yeah, they will frequently talk about things like this that Alex Jones says are going to happen. So that's great. Let's spend a minute on this, and then I'll tell you about the special circumstance I'm talking about.
Perfect.
Which is less funny to me, but
maybe Now I'm concerned.
Yeah, so they're going to turn us into zombies. See, I feel like they should just kill us, right? Like because the whole point of again, I've been listening to a lot of Knowledge Fight. if Alex Jones is right, then the globalists, right? That's those are the bad guys, the globalists. They want to reduce the population by 90%.
Oh, okay.
So that would be like that'd be a quick way to just do that. Like if 90% of people, okay, all those people got their jabs now through the 5G network. We're gonna send this emergency broadcast notification. Yeah.
Well, see, if you don't see, I think maybe the idea behind it is that if you turn people, because not everybody has had the vaccine, right?
Right.
So if you turn people into zombies who have had it, they will then take out a good population of a good amount of the population for you. Like that is like the zombies do the work for you. Mm-hmm. So your hands are clean. So you're not doing any of the dirty work of culling the herd, as it were. Yeah.
Right.
So here's
this episode may never come out because it's going to be released after that day.
That's true. This might be some lost to history, which would be
right.
a real shame.
It would, because we're taking some time out of our day.
We are very busy days.
Some time out of the last available time.
I know.
In civilization.
Well,
Yeah,
So according to someone this is a news, I just quickly Googled it because I assumed that you would know. So I want to give you the hard facts, John.
Yeah, please.
So this is on Newsweek.
Fact me, baby.
This is Newsweek.com. They're covering this conspiracy, and they are quoting someone on X, which drives me crazy. It's Twitter, people. Can we not call it X? Let's
New
not
my
do
mistake
that.
policy. Twitter is
It's
Twitter.
Twitter.
It'll
Thank you.
always be Twitter until it's gone.
Thank you. Okay, so according to Twitter user Gina Shara on September 30th, Gina says, turn off your cell phones on October 4th. The EBS, which stands for Emergency Broadcasting System,
Word.
is going to test the system using 5G. This will activate the Marburg virus in people who have been vaccinated and sadly turn them into zombies. Turn them into zombies. So let's see, another user on Twitter, Globe Destroyer. Go look that person up. Shared a video breaking down why some people are concerned about the test on Wednesday, alleging that a planned Marburg pandemic could be coming due to the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease testing a vaccine on humans in January.
Okay, help me out because I'm not familiar with this Marburg virus. Yeah,
sure. Let's look that up.
Okay. Sorry, I was unaware that was.
No, this is good. We're going into a rabbit hole together.
I like it. Real time Oracle.
Exactly. So according to CDC, or my initials, it stands for the Centers for Disease Control. Marburg virus disease is a rare but severe help me out here, John. Hemorrhagic fever, which affects both people and non-human primates. Oh no, the monkeys. MVD is caused by the Marburg virus, a genetically unique zoonotic or animal-borne RNA virus of the filovirus family. The 6 species of Ebola virus are the only other known members of the filovirus family.
So this mRNA injection that we all got is going to start manufacturing Marburg virus.
Yes.
Wow, good to know.
I mean, listen, if this test also ignites the Marburg virus in the monkeys, in the primates, we're done. We're toast. I feel like the monkeys and the primates will be the end of us because one day they're going to just all snap and be like, oh, we could just start killing humans. Yeah. And I think they're going to do that. That's my own conspiracy.
Zombie chimps. That's a
$1 million idea, John.
Yeah.
Should be a movie.
Older chimps already kill people. Like fairly
with no problem, very easily. Like they are very strong, John, and they can rip your face off if they wanted to.
Totally can. And you know the order of operations for a chimp attacking you?
No, I don't.
I feel like I really have talked about this before, but no.
Please tell me.
The first thing they do is they break your jaw. Yep. And that's so that they can't bite you.
Oh boy.
Right. And then
that's horrific, John.
Yeah, and I think I can't remember. Now this is going to kill me. I think the second one they either rip your eyes out or something, and then the last thing they do is they rip off your genitals if you're male. And it's basically they have completely made you a non-threat to them.
Yeah, I mean
You can't bite them. You can't F them.
I mean, listen,
Right?
you can't argue with that sort of
No.
systematic attack.
Yeah, and like what's weird is people don't realize that most of the chimps that you've seen in movies and TV, they're young chimps, right? They're still like wide-eyed and
Having fun. They're
altruistic,
they're having a good time. Yeah.
The old chimps, they're cranky. and believe me, I feel them. I know what's up. I get it. There are times I'm feeling a little chimp like myself. Yeah. So anyway.
So
back to the Marburg virus.
If you're concerned about it, maybe turn off your cell phone tomorrow around, I think it's 2 p.m. our time. But also don't do that because it's not true and it's all going to be fine.
Right. It's all going to be fine. And don't worry about that stuff.
Please don't. There are way more important things to worry about.
Right.
I promise.
So the story that I had read was something I hadn't really thought about, but it makes perfect sense. There are a lot of people in the world who are in abusive relationships and either haven't been able to bring themselves to leave, or they just aren't financially or physically capable of leaving.
Yes.
And some of these people have secret cell phones.
Oh no.
That they can use to like call for help.
No.
If the person with whom they are in an abusive relationship has control of their phone.
Right.
So the problem with that is if you have a phone hidden somewhere and then this emergency broadcast thing goes off, your phone is ringing or making whatever sound it's going to make, and it could alert your abuser to the location of your hidden phone, which could then result in problems.
Well, now I'm just sad.
Right? I know. We should have told that one first, and then the amazing
zombie
apocalyptic zombie mess after. But,
oh man!
Yeah, and as I said, this is going to come out after that. So
God damn it!
Yeah. Hopefully, no one had any problem with that, and this went off, and everything was fine. But yeah,
oh boy,
if you have a secret cell phone, make sure you turn it off.
Way to bring it down, John.
Right? Shit.
Shit.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, one more quick update because I feel like we need to talk about this at least a little bit in every episode from now until the end of my mistake.
Okay.
Which is never.
Right. Never. This is Endgame.
This is
That's what you said to me after episode 2. John, my mistake is Endgame.
It's a quote.
Yep.
So I've been doing a little more research into the shit plane event.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Which was me listening to an episode of Last Podcast on the Left.
Okay.
And they talked about it as well as they, it's on brand for them as well.
Sure.
So I guess there are some theories, and maybe this part of this has been confirmed that the pooper, as we call them,
we do,
was in fact a female.
Okay.
But
wearing
also
a skirt or a dress?
Well, I can't confirm that.
Okay.
But that they may have been elderly.
Okay, well that tracks.
And apparently some people as they get older have little to no control of their faculties, including their bowels.
Right.
And if it were to strike, basically it could strike at any minute.
Sure.
Explosive diarrhea.
Yeah, well, and I mean, hopefully you're rocking some Depends, and there's no shame in that,
Yeah, which doesn't seem like that was the case here. But to go along with that, I feel terrible. I feel even worse now for this person if it was like this nice old lady.
Sure.
Who was this?
What if it was a mean old lady?
I mean, I still feel bad.
Feel bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
So I don't know. I hope that's not the case. I hope it was some young, dumb, stupid person who went out the night before and drank too much and ate too many tacos or something. I hope it's not a poor, defenseless little old lady.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going with. I'm going with young, dumb, and taco enthusiast.
I feel like the crowd would have been more unruly if it were the latter.
Maybe, yeah.
You think about the fact that the people seem to, even to the point of protecting the identity of the pooper. These poopies were like... I mean, that's only logical, right?
I can't argue with that.
The existence of a pooper implies the existence of poopies.
You can't have a pooper without poopies.
That's correct.
So, anyways, this is an ongoing story. As information becomes available, we will pass it along to our listeners. This is important, John. So,
Breaking news.
this is So, and if you have any information, please share it with us because we would love to hear what you find out there. So
yeah, and you can let us know by sending us an email to mymistakepodcast@gmail.com.
Nice, John.
Thank you. Just want to slip that in there. We love to hear from folks.
We do indeed.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Kat.
What?
We heard from a folk.
Oh?
We do. We have an email.
Oh
in
my!
our hot little hands. I need to find a piece of paper and rustle it in front of the mic.
Oh, hold on. That was good folding
Mine
right
sounded
there.
like thunder. Yeah. So this is from one of our absolute favorite communiques.
Indefinitely.
Communicators. That's what I'm going to say.
That works.
That's what I came down on. It's not right, and I apologize, AK. But you are now a communicator, and we are communicatees.
I love it.
Just getting into that whole or e thing. Anyway, since usually you assign AK's emails to moi, are we gonna continue with that?
We're going with it, John.
We're going with tradition. All right, great.
We are.
All right, then AK says, yours, the thorny question of pronunciation. It's a tricky thing, isn't it? The trouble is, it really very much depends. Do you want a northern pronunciation, a West Country pronunciation, a southern pronunciation, a posh RP pronunciation? RP. Uh-oh. Royal.
I
don't know.
Royal.
The thing is, what's killing me here is that I don't even remember what we asked
I don't either.
about how you pronounce it.
I don't either.
You're gonna have to help us, AK.
It's been a while.
Save us from ourselves. But yeah. The one thing. Okay. Okay. Here we go. We were talking about. Was it Lincolnshire or Lincolnshire or wherever the perceived mass murder that turned out to be a yoga class.
Oh, got it.
In
Okay.
the Oops file a couple weeks back.
I gotcha. Mm-hmm. I'm here.
Okay, so the one thing I can say, it's almost never pronounced Shire. Okay, so that's good to know.
Okay.
Maybe with a very, very strong rural West Country accent, only with a bit more think pirate, and you'd be on the right track. Samwise Gamgee, but more so. That manner of thing. All right. Thank you for that.
Good.
It's not a solid answer, but it's
It's an answer though.
It's informative. Yeah. Mostly around here, it's more like sheer. Okay. And for the terribly posh, more like Shaw, Lincolnshire, or Lincolnshire. It's different again in Scottish pronunciation, I would imagine. Everything's different in Scottish pronunciation. I've always thought of Lincolnshire as one of the easier English counties to pronounce. Gloucestershire, Worcestershire, Leicestershire. I can see why they'd give a moment's pause, but Lincolnshire? Well, I mean, AK, I was basically going, is it Shire or Sheer?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes, depending on where you're from, it seems like. Yeah.
And John, you just rolled right through those like with no problem. So
well,
that was well done.
Well
done, Shire.
I mostly get through those because I have been to Massachusetts, and Massachusetts has a lot of towns that are similarly named to these, or at least they seem similar to me. But Gloucestershire, Worcestershire, Leicestershire. Even though some of these seem like Worcestershire or Leicestershire. Gloucestershire, but yeah, Gloucestershire, Worcestershire, Leicestershire. That's Gloucester, Worcestershire, Gloucester, Worcester, Leicester. That's what we're doing there. I can see why they'd give a moment's pause, but Lincolnshire. Well, so yeah, it was either, is it Lincolnshire or Lincolnshire? That was it.
Yeah.
It was, those other ones. Funnily enough, I would never say Gloucestershire or Worcestershire. I'd say Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
So that is interesting. Those are actually intuitive to me. But Lincolnshire was the one where I was like, is it Lincolnshire? No idea why. No making sense of my my random neural firings. But okay, so this is fun. We have links. So seems it's not just you guys having problems though, and there's a link to the BBC, which says Northern re-records 34 mispronounced station names.
Oh.
Okay. A train operator which came under fire for mispronouncing names of local railway stations has re-recorded 34 announcements. I bet that person got overtime. Voice work is good if you can get it.
Yeah, right.
Earlier this year, Northern said it had updated its announcements, but the company faced a backlash for still getting some of them wrong.
Oh, no.
The company then appealed for local residents to help get it right. Station announcer Laura Palmer, no relation apparently, but I don't know, maybe we're doing a Twin Peaks spin-off here.
Maybe.
Station announcer Laura Palmer said people were rightly passionate about where they lived. And I think that makes sense, If I live in a place and I'm proud of the place I live,
yeah,
and I'm riding the train to that place, I want to hear it pronounced the way it's pronounced.
You need to pronounce names correctly. And that's funny coming from me because I'm not good at it. But because I'm reading something or, I'm not familiar with it, it's not my job to know these things off the top of my head. But you need to try a little harder. Like, come on, just try a little bit harder.
Right.
It's not difficult, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it's funny here because in Southern California, there are places that are Spanish names, but they are not pronounced the way that a person speaking Spanish would correctly pronounce those names.
Sure.
Like Los Feliz.
Sure.
No self-respecting Spanish-speaking person is going to say Los Feliz if they're just saying those words.
Sure.
That is the name of the area. They would say Los Feliz.
Sure.
Then San Pedro is not the correct Spanish pronunciation, but that is the name of the town. Normally you would say San Pedro, but in this case, no. If you go to San Pedro and call it San Pedro, people might correct you.
Oh, they will. They're very particular.
Knock you in the mouth. I don't know, but I relate to this and I understand it. And it's like, if you're going to operate and do business in my town, you should at the very least know how it is pronounced.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, even Los Angeles that's not proper Spanish pronunciation.
Definitely not.
Be Los Angeles or Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, back in the old days, like in the early 1900s, then like into the 20s, I think it was pronounced Los Angeles is what the common sort of pronunciation was, which is it's just silly.
Do you know the actual name of Los Angeles, the full name of the city in which we live?
I know I did at one time. I forget.
Well,
I forget it.
Let me hip you to
Please.
What that is, if I can find it here.
Hip me.
All right. The name of the city in which we live, the full and proper name, is El Pueblo de la Reina de Los Ángeles, not Felipe de Neve, just El Pueblo de la Reina de Los Ángeles, which is the town of the Queen of the Angels. So,
There you go.
That's where we live.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Right off the tongue. And I'm sure, and by the way, if anybody is a Spanish speaker, specifically like Mexican Spanish, then and I pronounce that horribly, feel free to shoot us an email,
Please.
Send a recording. You can also put that on our Facebook page, which is My Mistake the Podcast on Facebook.
Wow, look at you putting in the work.
Or you could send it. You could DM us on Twitter.
Twitter.
At Twitter. F this X stuff. We are at My Mistake 17. You can go to our nearly defunct Instagram page, which is My Mistake Podcast. And you can look at photos from years ago when we used to post stuff.
Years ago.
Years and years ago. In any case, I've now I've gone really, really away from the track, which is AK's email.
Yes.
And now we're in a news story still that
Here we go.
that was linked to us from AK.
Yeah. This is their fault, not ours.
Right. In July, Northern acknowledged users of Mosley Hill Station in Liverpool were hearing it pronounced wrong as Mosley, and it said it was now planning to use Mosley. And by the way, there are two S's in Mosley,
Yeah.
Mossley, which prompted uproar from locals as that was still incorrect.
Oh, no.
The correct pronunciation is Mosley.
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 Yeah, and originally apparently they were saying Mosley Hill, and they said no, that's not right, and they said, oh, okay, it's Mosley Hill. And they're like, no,
Nope.
it's Mosley Hill.
Mosley.
Yeah. There were multiple submissions for Aspatria in Cumbria,
Oh, no.
yeah, or Aspatria, which should be pronounced Aspatria.
Aspatria.
Ding, 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 ding! I had it right before I even
Good.
saw it.
Good job.
Kirkham and Wesham in Lancashire, which should be pronounced Wesham. Lykeston in Derbyshire, to be pronounced Ilkeston. And
Oh, man.
Sowerby Bridge in West Yorkshire to be pronounced Sowerby Bridge.
The wheels are coming off, John.
They are, like I was
Bumpy
really
road,
proud
brother.
of myself.
I know
After
you were
the
doing
Gloucester,
so good.
Leicester, Worcestershire. Yeah, I was. It was hubris. Kat was really
You
what it
should
was.
have quit while you were ahead,
I
man.
flew too close to the pronunciation sun.
You did
It was
indeed.
very
And
bad.
those wings of yours are getting
They have
awfully melty.
Yep. They're very soft at this point. Debate ensued around loud E's, missing S's, and silent ands.
What the
and
fuck?
And
What's
the
happening?
and the faces behind the voices, Northern employees, Ms. Palmer and Pete Corley, went back to the studio. As the new recordings are rolled out across the Northern fleet of 345 trains, the pair have
boy.
thanked people for their feedback, adding,
yeah.
we couldn't have done it without you.
I'm sure they're really glad.
And we wouldn't have if you hadn't bitched about it.
Exactly.
Tricia Williams, Chief Operating Officer at Northern, said, this has been such an interesting process and proof, if ever it were needed, of the passion our customers have for the North.
That's a very nice way of saying, boy, what a pain in the ass this was.
Northerners do love the North because no one else does.
Oh,
That's not what the article said. That's what I said, and now we're going to get Northerners upset at us, and you don't
oh
want
boy.
to.
We're pissing off everybody today.
The king in the North is going to come after me, and it's going to be bad. Some of the stations on our network are pronounced very differently to how they appear in writing. That's how you know if something's British, by the way. Instead of saying different than, the way that people in the U.S., they'll say different to. Differently to how they appear in writing. It's important to get these things right. It is. She thanked the announcers and the locals for their, quote, persistence and, quote, speaking up.
This is a
for
very
their
passive
hometowns.
aggressive article.
Yeah.
I can feel the tension coming out of this article.
Okay, now I feel like AK sent this just so that I would do this.
Are you going to do all these?
There are 34 station names here. I'm going to go through them as fast as I can, and I'm not going to correct myself, and I'm not going to do anything else. Are we ready? Kat,
I'm
are
ready.
you prepared?
Oh, yeah.
And AK, I'm going to expect a score on this, if you don't mind. Accrington, Ardwick, Ashbreeze, Aspatria, Barnsley, Barrow-in-Furness, Bentham, Burnside, Cark and Cartmel, Chesterfield, Dodworth, Doncaster, Dore and Totley, Elscar, Euxton, Balshaw Lane, Gathurst, Hall of the Wood, Hanford.
You corrected yourself,
I
John.
did. I can't not. Hyington, Hesse, Ilkeston, Kirkham and Wesham, Langwathby, Lazenby and Kirkoswald. I did it again. Lostock Graham, Mosley Hill, Redcar, Roos, Slaithwaite,
Oh, no.
South Elmsall, Sowerby Bridge, Thurnscoe, Todmorden, and Wombwell.
Okay. Well,
Probably Wombwell, but what are you
there are some that listen, easy for me to say. Some that you got completely wrong.
Uh-huh.
But you were just moving. It was more
I
about
was trying to.
you. But that, you know what, you tried, and that was great. I think it's
Okay.
important to try.
We'll see if AK agrees. Because they sometimes disagree with...
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
But also, there's one in here where it's like, how do you get it that wrong? Where was it? It's like it seems like a very simple name. Which one was it? It's like Chesterfield. How do you fuck up Chesterfield?
Maybe it's Chesterfield? I don't know.
Oh, it's like a Jewish town or something? Like, what are we doing here? Anyway. Anywho.
Anyhoozle.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, that's been very informative. Thank you, AK, for that. And thank you,
Yep.
John, for reading all those names.
Okay. Well, and this you're welcome, and I'm sorry. It reminds me of the famous Twitter response. Thanks, I hate it. AK goes on to say, because we're now back at the email. You remember the email?
I do, yeah. Vaguely.
Whoops. I can't even imagine the ways some of those were recorded wrong. Well, now you don't have to.
Exactly.
How the heck do you mispronounce Barnsley?
Exactly.
Maybe it's Barnsley. I don't know.
It's very
I
strange.
don't know. WTF? And 4 question marks. I'm other news. Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
I think that's in. In other news, imagine my shock when whilst, not whilst, which was my want before, but I learned, AK, I did. You have taught me, and I am your willing pupil. Whilst searching for an innocuous GIF, I happened across a group of young men dressed as cowboys running along with what is very clearly, even to my English eyes, a bison. What on earth is going on? Okay, and then we have another link, and this goes to a Wikipedia research helper of champions.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
Ralphie the Buffalo.
Okay.
And
I see
for
the
some
video at the very bottom of this
Okay.
article, and I think I have an answer for you, AK.
Oh, good.
My interpretation. John, do you see the photo?
I do see the photo.
Okay. My guess is that Ralphie is a mascot of some football team. And without looking, I will go back up here at the article itself. The team, at student athletic team run with Alfie. Take her. Oh, it's a female bison.
Nice.
Yeah. So this. We have this fun
So it's a
tradition
bi-daughter?
here. It's a bi-daughter. We have this fun tradition here, AK, where football. It's a very
American
important
football.
It's American football. Sorry, it's a very important sport to some people, and they love to support their team, and they love to create, sort of the camaraderie and the loyalty behind the team, and they'll get a mascot, and that's fun. Sometimes it's like, goofy and fun. And other teams are animals, and so I know in Texas there's a big like longhorn sheep. His name is like Bob or something. I don't know his name, but they actually have the actual animal. They'll bring him out, and they'll run him around. And, they got to take care of this animal all year just so they can run it around at the beginning of a football game, which is an interesting job. I mean, that's what these gentlemen are doing. They look very stressed. They're running to keep up with this fucking thing.
Right.
There's like 5 or 6 guys running around this poor buffalo who just wants to like chill out and eat grass,
Right. They are Ralphie handlers. They have their own title.
Ralphie.
And it should be said that the team... It's the University of Colorado Buffaloes.
There you go.
Right. My understanding from my many, many hours of deep research into bison, all things bison, is that there are no actual buffalo living any longer. There are things called beefalo, which were a hybrid between what was possibly the original stock of buffalo, what was called buffalo, with more docile, what we normally think of as dairy cows and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're correct in saying, and I think they are saying that it's not a buffalo, it is a bison. That's correct. Yeah. That's not a buffalo is the very next. Yeah. And I'm not at all convinced it should be where it is. You're not alone.
No, it's
in your being unconvinced.
This is not something that should be happening. But I will say it's good news for Ralphie the buffalo. Again, misnomer. It's bison.
Right.
Ralphie has been named one of the best live mascots in sports. John, how do you become the best live mascots in sports? Like, what does it take? How do you beat out other live animals? I'm confused by the whole thing.
I don't know. Like maybe crowd reaction. Do you measure the sound of the crowd when the mascot takes the field? Is that
Maybe. I don't know.
yeah, I'm not sure.
So Ralphie is a female. Apparently, John, female bison are used because they are smaller and less aggressive. Mm-hmm. And it takes, let's see here, traditionally takes 5 Ralphie handlers to run her around the field, 2 up front on each side to steer her around the field, 2 in the back on each side to help guide her, and 1 in far back to control her speed.
Wow.
This is called the loop position. The most recent Ralphie has run her first 2 seasons without the loop position. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating.
It is. And yes, you are correct. She should not be there.
No, just just send Ralphie back out to the field, as it were. Like, leave Ralphie alone.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be out there running around with these dummies all around her. Come on.
Yep. Yeah, and they go on to say, I've been led to believe that these are creatures you really ought not be approaching. And you've been led correctly.
Yeah, it's true.
And this one is tearing up footy fields. By the way, I just love that term, footy fields.
It's
great.
It's adorable.
Yep. Oh, America, you bunch of absolute nutters.
100% true. We are absolutely ridiculous people.
Good call. We do a lot of dumb stuff. But I have also seen some people wearing wigs who are in government in the place. Yeah, there's nutters everywhere.
Oh boy, John's starting some shit.
And I'm trying. Oh my God! Not counselors. Barristers? That's it. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and what's really funny to me is every time I see a barrister now, because I grew up on Monty Python.
Yes.
I just automatically picture them wearing lingerie under their robes. 'Cause I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they're yeah. I believe it was Eric Idle who would frequently like take off his robe and be wearing like just lacy red garments underneath. Mm-hmm. Yep. Anyway, so there's that. But yes, there are a bunch of absolute nutters here for sure.
True.
I do not deny it. Mm-mm. All right. AK goes on to say, Kat, I wish you well on your travels and look forward to hearing tales of your odyssey. Uh-oh. Whether from the road or on your return, the van sounds great. Does it have a name yet? Right enough. Enough of this japery. Places to go, wood to whittle.
Oh.
AK. Thank you.
Love you, AK. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, Kat, there were a couple of queries that were posed to you there. Mm-hmm.
Well, the name, the van does have a name.
Fantastic.
Leah came up with it, and I think it's brilliant. It's a white van. The van is white. It's got some blue detail, like sort of trimming and stripes on it and stuff, but it's mostly a white van, which is fun because I found a keychain that says never get into a white van. So that's our keychain now for the van. And so the van's name is Slow White.
So perfect.
Because, she's slower than other vehicles out there on the road. But it's endearing and I love it. I think it's a great name. Oh, Matt Tooney, a friend of the pod.
The world's angriest Canadian.
That's him. He suggested, and it's a good second place. Yeah. He suggested Billie Jean, King of the Road, which I thought was very, very cute, very funny. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad about it. It's kind of uncharacteristically unoffensive. It's like, oh, that's legitimately kind of a cute and good name, and I don't feel mad about it. So,
right.
But if we hadn't already had Slow White, I think Billie Jean, King of the Road would be up there.
See, I asked you this same question. I love that AK and I are like sharing a brain there. I asked if you had named the van, and you told me Slow White, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to beat that. Anyway. So
it's hard, right?
I just stopped thinking about it. That's a good one.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
And yeah, John, I thought by now I would be out there on the road, on the old dusty.
I thought that too.
On the open road.
Whatever could have happened to delay your departure?
John, are you familiar with the movie from the 80s, the Tom Hanks and Shelley Long juggernaut that is The Money Pit.
I am familiar with that film. Yes, Kat.
Okay, well, that's all.
But I can't see how it would relate to this in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, there's issues. The van has issues.
Okay.
I don't feel like talking about it.
Okay, fair.
It's very upsetting to me. Yeah, I'm bummed. It's still we got to get some work done, and the mechanic. Apparently, everybody and their brother is going RVing, and so like the mechanics are really busy, and so they can't even take it until a couple of days from now. So it's just one blow after the other. I'm feeling pretty depressed about it, and it's I had a lot kind of hinged on this trip.
Yeah,
and
this was supposed to be an escape for you, if I remember correctly. An
Yeah.
escape from stress, and
Some other things. And,
Yep.
Now it's just it's having the opposite effect.
It reminds me of a sign that I used to see a lot of people who owned boats.
Oh,
They
no.
would have this sign that said boat, and it would be like a dictionary entry. Boat, a hole in the water into which one pours money. And it's like, so this is what would a camper van is it's not a hole in the road, I guess.
No.
It's whatever. It's a money pit.
It's a money pit. But listen, it's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
By hell or high water, John, I'm going out on the road in some vehicle for some amount of time to some place, all to be determined.
Okay. All right. Well, I look forward to hearing your stories from the road. Should you ever get on it?
Christ.
Mm-hmm. Oof.
But listen, we can't end on that note. So I'm gonna send you something here.
Okay.
It's gonna lighten the mood.
Nice.
Let me go ahead and send this to you.
Okay.
Da, 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 da. Here it comes. All right, but don't spill the beans. I'd like to. I just want you to see the photos that are involved. But I would like to share this with you.
Okay.
Tell me when you get it.
I have it, and I am now. I'm wondering why it's not opening in a browser.
Oh no.
Oh, I know why. Because I killed the browser that it. And now, of course, there are two of them, and
All hell's breaking loose over there.
It is. Like, because I have like 36 tabs in each window. Some of them are YouTube. And so things are just starting to play all on their own right now. And I have a lot of audio in my ears that is not the audio I'm choosing to actually hear.
I see.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
You with me?
I am with you.
All right. So this is according to AP, the APnews.com website. Bears raid a Krispy Kreme donut van making deliveries on an Alaska military base. And it's just what it sounds like.
And the photo is adorable.
Oh my God. It's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
This happened on September 18th, just recently, a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, you work in Anchorage, Alaska, John. You're doing your rounds. You drive a Krispy Kreme truck.
Uh-huh.
And you're doing your rounds.
Yeah.
And this particular driver apparently usually left his doors open when he stopped at the store, but this time a sow and one of her cubs that loiter nearby sauntered inside. They sauntered, John.
They sauntered.
Where they stayed for probably 20 minutes, said the store manager. And, listen, John, for 20 minutes, if you're in a van full of Krispy Kreme, what do you think you're doing for 20 minutes?
Eating all of the Krispy Kreme.
And that's exactly what these two adorable bears are doing. It's a mama bear and a little baby bear, and they are going buck wild on these donuts.
Oh my gosh. We're going to have bear diabetes. Diabetes? maybe?
Diabetes. Let's see here. The bears chomped on donut holes and other pastries, ignoring the banging on the side of the van that was aimed at shooing them away.
Kat, Is banging on the side of a van delicious?
No, sir.
Then
I've
a
done
bear,
it.
am not interested. I'm not interested. I'm not having it, frankly.
So Shelly Diano, I think she's the store manager at the old convenience store. She says, I was beating on the van and they're not moving. I could hear them breaking open the packages and everything. I was like, they don't even care.
Okay, first of all,
course they
clearly they
don't.
were moving because they were breaking open packages.
There was a lot
You can't do that without moving.
Fair enough. I think what she meant was moving out of the van.
Yes, moving in the direction that she wanted them to be moving.
So don't worry, John. There is a happy end to this. Because I was actually worried as I was talking, like just now talking to you about this. I'm like, oh God, do they kill the bears? I forget. No. I would have left that
Way
part
to
out.
lighten the mood, Kat.
No.
Great.
When the bears couldn't be roused, base security was called and sounded sirens meant to scare away the bears.
Mm-hmm.
The bears eventually came out and wandered in front of the convenience store and gas station a bit before heading into the woods. So there's a happy
You don't
ending
want to just
here.
eat and run.
No.
You're going to hang out for a minute
You can
and
enjoy yourself.
show your
you know?
appreciation.
Apparently, it's not unusual to see bears on base or around the store, but nothing like this has happened before, Diano said, adding that the delivery driver now closes his door when he stops at the shop.
One would hope.
Ah, boy. I love it.
So
and
great.
so, as a public service announcement, we have to say we urge the public to use caution to ensure you are protecting our wildlife and yourselves. Wildlife may be our neighbor, but they should not be attracted to our human food sources. So,
No,
keep that in mind, everybody.
Because they might end up attracted to our human food sources.
Yeah.
We don't want
But boy, this is a great picture. There's a little baby bear who's like on its hind legs, like just going full on into this box of donuts. And then Mama Bear's looks like she might be just kind of scoping out what's going on behind her.
Yeah.
But they're making an absolute mess, and I could not be more happy about it.
I'm here for it.
So cute.
Totally
Oh
adorable.
my God, so good. Anyway, so there you have it. There's a
There you
little wildlife news for you.
Yeah, we've got bears and bisons and like Krispy Kreme. Oh my.
Oh my.
Awesome.
Good times.
Yeah, very good times.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be a show. What do you think?
I think we've done a thing.
I believe a thing has been accomplished.
Indeed.
Indeed. So, you know what that means.
What does it mean, John?
It's time to fuck Mike Pence, guys.
Let's everybody just fuck Mike Pence.